dared to stare, unveiling the shadows of fear on fear files.
Dawn broke over the whispering woods, casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to stretch like claws across the forest floor. The group gathered their belongings, their faces pale but determined. They knew the path ahead was fraught with danger, but Jacob Fisher's spectral visit had solidified their resolve. They had to find Eliza's grimoire and break the curse, or they would never escape the forest's clutches. Alex led the way, the journal clutched tightly in Sarah's hands as she read aloud from its pages. Jacob mentioned a clearing, a place where Eliza would go to gather herbs and perform her rituals. It's deep within the forest, where the trees grow thickest and the light barely penetrates. Great, Mark muttered, adjusting his backpack. Just what we need. More darkness. Lisa gave him a reassuring squeeze on the shoulder. We've made it this far. We can do this. The forest seemed to close in around them as they walked, the dense foliage blocking out the sun and casting everything in a twilight gloom. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, and the ever-present whispers seemed to follow them, growing louder with each step. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the occasional snap of a twig or rustle of leaves. Every sound set their nerves on edge, but they pressed on, determined to reach the clearing before nightfall. As they neared their destination, the forest grew even darker and more oppressive. The trees were ancient and gnarled, their twisted branches forming a dense canopy overhead. The path became more treacherous, with roots and brambles threatening to trip them at every turn. Finally, they emerged into a small clearing, bathed in an eerie, unnatural light. In the center stood a weathered stone altar covered in moss and vines. Surrounding it were the remnants of a crude circle of stones, their surfaces etched with strange symbols. "This must be it," Sarah said, her voice a whisper in the stillness. "Eliza's ritual site." Alex approached the altar cautiously, his eyes scanning the area for any signs of danger. "Let's spread out and look for the grimoire. It has to be here somewhere." The group fanned out, carefully searching the clearing. Mark and Lisa examined the stone circle, while Sarah and Alex focused on the altar. The whispers seemed to intensify, a chorus of voices that filled their minds with dread. As Sarah brushed away the moss and dirt from the altar's surface, she uncovered a hidden compartment, its edges worn but still intact. "I think I found something," she called out, her fingers trembling as she pried it open. Inside was a small leather-bound book, its cover adorned with intricate symbols and designs. The grimoire. Sarah's heart raced as she lifted it out, the weight of their task pressing down on her. "Is that it?" Lisa asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Yes," Sarah replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "This is it. Eliza's grimoire." As they gathered around, the whispers grew louder, the voices merging into a single coherent message. "You have come far, but the forest will not let you go easily. The grimoire holds the key, but the path is fraught with peril." "What do we do now?" Mark asked, his fear evident. "We need to perform the ritual," Sarah said, opening the grimoire and scanning its pages. "But it's not going to be easy. The forest will fight us every step of the way." As she read aloud the instructions, the air around them seemed to grow colder, the shadows lengthening and deepening. The whispers turned into a cacophony of voices, their words incomprehensible but filled with menace. Alex set up the candles and protective runes as instructed, while Lisa and Mark gathered the necessary herbs and components. The ritual required a sacrifice, a small token of their own life force to counterbalance the curse's power. Sarah began the incantation, her voice strong and steady despite the fear gnawing at her heart. The candles flickered and flared, their light casting eerie, dancing shadows on the surrounding trees. As the ritual progressed, the forest seemed to come alive. The ground trembled, and the trees swayed as if moved by an unseen force. The whispers grew louder, a deafening roar that filled their ears and minds. "We have to keep going!" Alex shouted over the noise. "Don't let it break your focus!" Sarah continued to chant, her voice rising in pitch and intensity. The grimoire glowed with an ethereal light, its pages turning on their own as if guided by an invisible hand. The symbols on the altar and stones began to shimmer and pulse, their power building to a crescendo. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows at the edge of the clearing. It was Jacob Fisher, his spectral form flickering like a candle in the wind. He raised his hand, pointing toward the center of the ritual circle. "You must complete the ritual," Jacob's voice echoed, a blend of desperation and hope. "The curse can only be broken if you give freely of your own life force. The forest will resist, but you must prevail." As Sarah reached the final incantation, a wave of energy surged through the clearing, knocking them off their feet. The ground split open, revealing a swirling vortex of darkness and light, a portal to the spirit realm. "Now!" Alex shouted, grabbing Sarah's hand and pulling her toward the portal. "We have to do this together!" The group linked hands, their faces set with determination. They stepped into the portal, their bodies enveloped by the swirling energy. The forest around them seemed to scream in protest, the voices of the whispers reaching a fever pitch. As they entered the spirit realm, they found themselves standing on the edge of a vast, desolate landscape. The air was cold and still, and the ground beneath their feet felt insubstantial, as if they were walking on the surface of a dream. In the distance, they saw a figure standing alone, shrouded in darkness. It was Eliza, her form twisted and contorted by the failed ritual that had bound Jacob Fisher to the forest. "Welcome," Eliza's voice echoed, a haunting melody that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. "You seek to break the curse, but do you have the strength to face the darkness within?" "We have to try," Sarah said, her voice unwavering. "We won't leave this place until we've set Jacob free." Eliza's eyes glowed with an eerie light. "Very well, but know this. The forest's will is strong, and it will not let you go without a fight. You must confront your deepest fears and prove your resolve. Only then can the curse be broken." As the group prepared to face the trials ahead, they knew the journey would test them to their limits. The spirit realm was a place of shadows and echoes, where the past and present intertwined in a dance of light and darkness. But they were united in their purpose, driven by the hope of freeing Jacob Fisher and escaping the Whispering Woods once and for all. Thank you for braving the unknown with us. Until next time, stay haunted.